Karina, come to the table, Karina. And I'm not sure if we've got Rex.
We've got Rex
and Diane.
Yes.
Nice to see you all. Thanks for being with us today. We've got you down for
Morning, James.
Morning,
Morning,
we've got you down
everybody.
for 10 minutes.
Come on.
Nice to see
Yep.
you, Rex. We'll hand over to you to begin your presentation. Thanks, Karina.
Awesome. Good morning. My name is Karina Shields and I am a member of Mana Wahine Kōrero. We are a staunch group of Māori women who support our women, our children, and our culture, a group some of you may be familiar with. I'm joined today by Diane Rex. Di is a co-founder, Rex is a member. Both of these women have also been subjected to the online harassment that I will be speaking about today. I became a member of MWK after Di saw a video and she reached out to me following the Albert Park Let Women Speak Posey Parker event that was violently stormed by rainbow activists enabled by the New Zealand Greens and mainstream media. That video I recorded that day has been seen over 1 million times on my own social media page and has been used by people and media around the world, including GB News. Because of this video, I went from having a few hundred followers in January 2023 when I started my X account to over 10,000 by the end of March 2023. As mentioned in my written submission, had I known about the online dangers that would come from that video, I would have reconsidered sharing it. Real life dangers that I don't think are covered in law widely enough. Since January 2024, a day after I wrote an article about online bullying, I have been the subject of intense targeted bullying from several people. This has been heightened by the public slander on my personal page, in particular by a well-known government-funded youth mental health charity spokesperson. I shaved off my hair to raise money for this charity in November 2023. By December 2024, it became apparent that I was not the only target of this man's online vitriol and targeted harassment. This has been confirmed in an article that I read that has been in circulation for the last 3 months. Because of the platform I now have, several people have written fake emails about me, complained to charities I've done work with and for, leading me to withdraw my support from those charities. They have shared my phone number. One person has even used the company's register to dox my family and I. These actions have been done in both false and real identities and names. There was an attempt to get me permanently banned from X by people mass reporting my profile, and they succeeded temporarily until I had the ban overturned due to over-appealing the decision. But most concerning are some posts and comments that have been twisted and attributed to me despite me not being the one to make them. And I have an affidavit from the person who made the comments that I'm being targeted for. This week, when my stalkers found out that I was presenting today, there was a suggestion to contact the select committee in an effort to stop my submission. When I was made aware of this, I emailed a screenshot of that comment to the committee's secretariat. These are some of the people that are named in my NetSafe summaries. I have spent far too much of my time dealing with NetSafe, police, and more recently, a national MP who until a month or so ago sat on this committee. And it is abundantly clear after dealing with all of these groups that only one group of people are protected by the system. The rainbow community of vexatious litigants and their supporters who use the HDCA because they keep choosing to read things written by people that they hate. It is not okay that when I went to the police station and showed them comments in real time by someone who was claiming to be at shops and parks near my house, that they told me that there was nothing they could do. It's not okay that a well-known mental health advocate gets to walk around like their bodily excrements don't smell when they've directly and indirectly are contributing negatively to other people's mental health without acknowledging what they've done or trying to rectify what has occurred. Like everything, I can show you proof of my dealings with this charity in the 2 weeks leading up to the targeted abuse that began. And I believe that you all have a copy of those already. I've had to suggest to police that I would go and sort out one of the stalkers myself after she made a comment about being a licensed gun owner, just so that they would take my report seriously and look into it. It took 2 months for police to follow up, and coincidentally, I was updated on that report the same day that I visited the National MP's office. Fortunately for me, my stalker isn't a gun owner, but the 2 months of uncertainty while I waited for police was no fun and games. Who knows if I would be here today if she was a gun owner who went too far. And I intend on laying a complaint with IPCA because I don't believe that my report was taken seriously enough when I've seen news reports of police using every resource that they can get to chase people who paint or repaint rainbow pedestrian crossings. Do rainbow pedestrian crossings really mean more than the lives of every other person who isn't part of the rainbow community? What happened to safer communities together? Because my experience at Albert Park and my experience over the harassment I've received means I have next to no faith in the police force and the laws in this country. I learned very quickly that I am not alone. Each of the women here with me and many others that I have spoken to have faced and experienced similar things to the things that I have spoken about. They too have had to deal with harassment, doxing, fake complaints to charities, and having their property vandalised. A lot of these attacks seem racially motivated, where predominantly Pākehā men and women take issue with wahine Māori who say things different to what mainstream media and politicians portray. And they seem to take great delight in metaphorically kicking every woman like us at every chance that they can get. However, there is also a Māori contingent of bullies who act as if any Māori who expresses an opinion different to theirs is kupapa, colonised, and needs to reconnect to culture. These, again, are some of the same people in my NetSafe summaries who have been identified as perpetrators of online harm by NetSafe. Because of the collective actions of these people, which includes claims of having access to police files, holding secret contracts, working in local government and pulling strings, I do not think that NetSafe have the capabilities to investigate these people, and that comments like this, even if they're fake, should be taken more seriously because the actions of these people have seriously impacted my life. I started writing in the year before I started being targeted. I had articles published online with plain sight. I haven't written an article since one of the people targeting me took one of my articles, claimed I was part of some anti-Māori group I had never heard of, and wrote a nonsense article about me. Despite clarification from my editor at Plain Sight, this person has neither retracted a story or apologised for sloppy journalism. I've had to install a camera over my driveway so I know who is turning up, and safety concerns I never used to have living in this country have become part of my reality in the last 14 months. I find myself pulling away from business and work opportunities because I don't know what my stalkers will do next. And I've done it all while caring for and dealing with the medical mistreatment that took my mother's life in August last year. It is by the grace of whānau and friends and ex-supporters that I find myself speaking truth to power today. A person without support like mine could have easily succumbed to death by their own hands. Due to the intensity of pressure these people have tried to apply to my life in order to stop me speaking about things that make them uncomfortable. Having attempted suicide and spoken about it in my social media and in an article that I wrote, I can't help but wonder if this has been the end goal of these people, to push me so far over the edge that I attempt and succeed in taking my own life. The law as it stands does not go far enough to include online harassment for multiple accounts and doxing as specified acts of harassment and stalking. I'm asking that lawmakers consider the toxicity from the rainbow activists and add provisions for online acts to be included as specified acts in the bill now while you have the chance. In the 2022 to 2023 financial year, the rate for Māori for suspected suicides was 16.3 per 100,000 Māori. As a wahine Māori, I have to ask, will politicians act now while they can, or will I have to become a statistic in the same way as Charlotte Dawson, driven to suicide by online trolls first? And I would just like to add, just as a finishing note, for the last 10 years, New Zealand has had the running record. We have topped the world for violence against women and children. And so our stalking laws need to absolutely consider the online harassment and stalking that takes place. Because one of my most prolific stalkers that I know of has at least 14 profiles. And the amount of blocking that I've had to do, and she comes back and nobody can do anything in law. Thank you.
Thank you, Karina. Thanks for your time this morning. We are slightly over, but happy to let that run because you're raising some relevant points and information, and just wanted to acknowledge you for being with us. And just to, if we can provide any assurance, the bill I think at the moment as drafted would capture some of that online activity, but it may well be worth looking into whether we make that explicit in the list as well. So it's a point well raised. So thank you all for being with us.
Awesome. Thank you very much.